What's up, everyone? Good morning. Good morning. Happy. What is it? Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. So today I thought, I've been talking, kind of not talking about it too much, but I've been dropping these little hints that I'm writing a new book, and I want to confirm that on this live today. Also, talk to you through one of my strategies that I'm actually doing this time around. So this is book number 2. Book number 1, Real Marketers, was fantastic, great learning experience. But I have, much like any part of my life, I've looked at what went well and what can I do better this time. And really, that is why I decided to actually make a group for several reasons around the book. Let me just make sure that I am logged in, that everything is off, and that I'm actually live streaming. Because the other day, I thought I was live streaming, and I did that for like 10 minutes, and I was like, oh, I'm actually not live streaming to LinkedIn. So that's not the best. I was streaming to only Facebook and YouTube. But anyway, that is why we're here today. We're talking about why I decided to actually do a group around this book, and why I think what my strategy. So I'll talk to you what what the the project is, why the group, and then why I think using these type of groups are so impactful for specific projects, not just big launches like what I'm imagining, but for small ones too. So after understanding real marketers and hearing the feedback and building up products and really pivoting the business during the current Rona time, what's up, Chad? Um, we decided to pivot our business model, our products, and our offerings, and really consolidate that into less of a services business and more of a digital products business, with still services included. That's something that we're still pushing. But as I'm looking forward and understanding the new landscape and what's going on with specifically social media, I went back to where I am and I said, going through the process of writing this book, I had this exponential growth, right? Like I went from kind of knowing, some things about marketing to exponentially growing, learning, using my content on LinkedIn to actually drive traffic, learn the skills, all these things. So I decided, why can't I do the same thing for this next phase of the business for Boundless Media, and do that for a book? So I've been fascinated with this idea of how influencers and how brands are able to cultivate so much influence using social media as a tool. How did they, what's the so the book will be broken down into 3 sections. What are those elements of being an influencer, right? Those elements that people need. What can you do to sustain a not exponential growth, but sustained, you know growth of followers and interest towards your social platforms, your brand? And then how do you actually influence your audience to take certain actions? What are the called actions? What are the relationships? Like all those. So I have all these, thoughts and theories, but I thought, why waste, not waste, but why go through this long endeavor of trying to figure this out by myself? And I would need to figure this out for the business anyway. So why not put a project around it to dedicate my time, energy, and really the mental capacity into something, so that when this is said and done, I don't have stacks and stacks of extra books in that background that I'm reading or notes. I have something physical that I can share with not just clients, but people who are interested in this very topic too. So that's what the genesis was for Real Influencers. I will be talking a lot more about that in the coming days, weeks, months. How it's looking, as this is the second week of July. Most likely, we're looking for a early March release. With all the research writing. And then, so I'm going to shoot for it being done in December, or at least like the manuscript being done in a couple months of editing, and then we'll launch in March or April of next year. So it's really a long-term project, but I'm super excited about it. We're starting to get the first couple of influencers in there that I'm interviewing. So number one, if you have a favorite influencer that you love to talk with, learn from, make sure to let me know through DMs or comments or whatnot. Because I love, again, this is a complete learning opportunity for me, and again, something I want to share with the world. So that's the project. So why did I decide to do a group? So when I was reading The 4 Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss, somewhere back there, I was fascinated by some of the tools and tips he had in there. So one of the things was, when he was talking about launching his book, or going through that. Actually, I don't know if it was in 4 Hour Work Week, but anyway, I was reading something about how he was designing the cover. I think it was 4 Hour Work Week. This was like the second or third issue of it, but I was fascinated with how he used at the time Google AdWords to test out different covers for the book, titles, all this stuff. And I was so fascinated by doing that. I know that honestly, Chad, I'll circle. I don't know. Uh, maybe. So uh, so LinkedIn Live. I don't know. Again, it's one of those things. I'm blessed to have had it since October of last year. But it's sometimes you're gonna get it, sometimes you're not. My biggest thing is put out video content. Be on other people's shows. Use that as a gateway to showing that you actually use live and you would use it. But anyway, back to that. So it's fascinating with Tim Ferriss, like saying, using Google AdWords to test different copy and book titles and images and all these different things. And I was thinking, okay, that's is a fascinating idea. How does that look today? That looks like Facebook ads, Instagram ads, and the problem was it was so impersonal, right? Like running all these, I would be working in the silo where I don't work the best in silo. That's like the worst thing for me personally is working in a silo. So I decided, why couldn't I streamline this and go to people I trust? Because what I did with my first book is I went to people I trusted and said, hey, what do you think about this title? Hey, what do you think about this book cover? And I'll be honest, a lot of people did not like this book cover. So like, again, it doesn't mean like I completely listen to every single thing that the people say. But I take into consideration titles, chapters, flows, like all of these help to make books and these large projects successful. So I said, why can I why can I lean on people I would already be asking, but do this in a controlled environment? So that's why I started the page. That's why I started Real Influencers, the page, so that I can, so the first thing out, for instance, I started the page yesterday, and I was like, listen, I hand selected these people who are going to be in there. The beauty of it was the first thing I posted in there was like my brief, like my one pager. I was like, listen, for the people in this group, this is what we're all about. This is like what I want to do. And I started getting feedback on it, and that's fantastic. As we go forward, I'll be sharing, the interviews, the nuggets with people. I'll be sharing what I want to add, chapter structure. I want to share so many different types of things with the people in there to see what sticks, because from past experiences, I think the one beautiful part about content, especially social media content, is that you're able to iterate so quickly. Like you're really able to put something out, see if it works or it doesn't, and then if it doesn't work, learn why it didn't work, and if it does work, why it did work, right? And then I'm able to like create more and more content based on that. A book is a lot bigger of a project to put out to the world, get some feedback, and then change it. So I will be changing and morphing chapters, images, stories as I go through the process. And that's why I decided to actually start the group. How does this matter? Why does this matter to you? If you are a podcaster, if you are a small business owner, if you are a person who is taking on a project, whether it's designing a website, whether it's launching a new campaign, whether it's creating an ebook, whatever that is, you, in my opinion, if there are clients, if there are friends, or there are people that you trust, that you want their opinion, often a good discussion, like you can go and message them and say, hey, what do you think about the website? But what I want in this group especially is, so I'll be honest, the people in this book are going to get their names at the end as a thank you. They're going to get a free copy. There's incentives from them there, but the biggest one is, they love my content. They love what I'm doing. They would like to interact with me more, and they would like to learn more about social influence, and all those characteristics that I mentioned. So I want them to learn. I want them to benefit. And in return, I just ask for feedback or comments, but that's all I'm really looking for. Is I want discussion. I want to make this project, this book, the best it can be, using a ton of feedback and input and changes and modifications from the get. So I kind of, what the project is, why the group, and then, for anyone, whether it's, if you want to start a podcast, record 3 episodes with 3 different guests, put it in a group and ask them, hey, what do you guys think? and make sure that they get something in return. Again, for me, it's obvious. Like your name, like, for people who help buy the pre-orders of my book, and again, I might even do this too. They will get a little section just like this underneath the people I interviewed. They will get the section there and here that will say, "Hey, like these are the people that help support my book." Like I want them. I want first and foremost people to realize like I couldn't have done this by myself, and that's why I, you know, put everyone who helped me along that process, my mentors and everyone in there, because this is a big project. So that's kind of what my thought process is there. So there you go. That's all I got for you guys. Using influence in this in a group is a one way to do that. Again, testing on ads and different mechanisms like that is a different approach, but definitely getting feedback, getting the input to iterate really quickly are all basic things I know that you guys know, but this is how I'm applying it to my new book, Royal Influencers. So there you go. If you have any questions, comments, or anything like that, send me a direct message, comment here. I read everything and try to respond to everything. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you guys later. Okay, bye guys.